First question today will come from Ben Goetz of the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey guys, Max, this question is for you. Just what have the last 3 weeks been like for you, from getting injured in training camp to having to wait to go to the bubble to quarantining to now?
Yeah, everything's been based around the decision of how I'm going to be as prepared as possible for when I'm able to return to play. I think as a group, everyone felt that give myself the best opportunity by doing some of the rehab process back in Las Vegas. That went really well. And when I came here, had to quarantine a little bit. So tried to do as much as I could in my room to maintain my fitness levels. And thought it probably did as good of a job as I could with that, but nothing can really simulate a playoff game. So just trying to work my hardest to make sure that I'm up to speed when I do return.
Next question today will come from Chris Matthews of KLAS 8 in Las Vegas.
Hey, I appreciate this, guys. Can I just ask you, we talked to Peter about this, but just your guys' thoughts, given all the circumstances that's going into this season's postseason, the bubble and all the restrictions and so forth. Can you just kind of give me an idea of how difficult winning this year's Stanley Cup will be? And if you win this year, is it perhaps the greatest win of any team, just given all the circumstances? Really a question for both of you.
I mean, I've said this from the beginning, and it's even more evident now, now that we're here in the bubble and we've been here for the last couple of weeks. It's hard. It's hard to, mentally sometimes, you're used to being out and about and whatnot. You're stuck inside a hotel, but you're still get to play hockey. And you saw the first couple of games, with us. You saw the first playoff series were incredibly intense. Guys were fresh. A lot of hits, a lot of block shots. Guys really playing hard. And I think, the mentality of guys are here is that you're here, you're stuck in this bubble. You might as well come here and try and win the thing. I mean, that's kind of been the way that the feeling is around this whole situation. And it's been, like I said, it's only been 2 weeks. We haven't even started the playoffs yet, technically. And, day one starts today, starts tomorrow. And the journey begins there. But it's, I think it's, like I said a couple weeks ago, I think this is going to be the hardest one to win.
Next question today will come from Greg Wazinski of ESPN.com.
Hey there, Nate. Good to see you again. Can you give me a sense of what it was like amongst the boys when the Robin Lehner trade went down to the trade deadline? I mean, you and a lot of guys were original Golden Knights with Flower. To have somebody come in that was going to provide competition. How was that sort of thing received, and what was sort of the reaction when you see this goalie battle play out between them?
Yeah, I mean, Robin's been an established goalie in our league for quite some time. So anytime you bring in somebody that's going to, add depth to your group, add, competition, it's going to, give a boost to your team, right? He's an excellent player. The guy's been in the top of the Vezina, voting the last couple of years. He's a guy that can come in and in any circumstance and play well. And so for us, it was, it's hard to see a good friend of Malcolm Subban go. But you add a guy like with Robert at the deadline, it really bolsters your team and understands that this is you're coming here for one thing and he's going to help you win that. So, he's a guy that can step in at any time. At the deadline, it was, how long ago was that? I remember what I felt like at the deadline the previous lifetime ago. But, he's just, like I said, he's really assimilated into our group really well. And like I said, he's going to be a guy we're going to need to rely on.
Next question today will come from Jesse Granger of The Athletic.
Hey, this one's for Max. I know you haven't played any games up here, but there have been a lot of penalties and the power play minutes have been high. And as a guy who's a big key piece to this power play, I'm just wondering how important you think that's going to be. And maybe if you're excited to get maybe some extra minutes on the power play.
Yeah, hopefully we do get that opportunity, but you still have to work for your power plays. I think we saw a game last night that didn't show as many power plays, so maybe the calls will go down less and less as the series move on. But the power play is a good way to jump right in and feel confident, get some puck touches. We've shown that we've been able to be a very capable power play of changing games, and I want to come in and that's an area I definitely want to try and help the boys.
Next question today will come from Phil Thompson of the Chicago Tribune.
Hello, this is from Max. Just really briefly, it's been a long time since you've played the Hawks. Do they look like the same team to you? And
No.
what has stood out?
Yeah, I think no, they don't look like the same team. This is a new season. We saw so many teams get bounced already, or teams, struggle that didn't struggle during the year to find their game right now. But this is a new team. They had a couple young guys. Obviously, we know who they are. That from year one to year two, or every off season, you have an opportunity to improve, especially as a young player. And I think they've had guys that were able to take that time and take their game to a new level. So definitely seems like they have a little bit more depth now in terms of guys with experience or filling out their bodies and whatnot. So definitely not a team at all that you can take lightly, especially given the fact that they've had so much success with their veterans. And you sprinkle in some younger guys that have really picked up their game since this has started, and it's going to be a really fun series. But can't at all look at what happened in the regular season. They're a strong team with a lot of firepower.
Next question today will come from David Shane of the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Max. For you, can you just speak to the difficulty of leaving family? Obviously, wife expecting and just, being up there. Your situation obviously a little different. Maybe you got to say goodbye, I guess, a little longer. But how difficult is that, I guess, for you?
It's not difficult. I have a very supporting wife, kids, and family. My wife's expecting, but this is she understands that this is she was an athlete, so understands that as a young kid, this was my goal my entire life. So she's so excited that I have this opportunity, because it doesn't come very often. So, with technology and whatnot, I get to still see the kids every day. You got to look back at that definitely wasn't the case back in the day. You had to leave your family, and no FaceTime, no cell phones. You think about people in the Army who leave for long periods of time, and this is my job. This is what I'm paid to do, and I'm just thankful I have the support of my family to try and accomplish my dreams.
Next question today will come from Stormy Bonantoni of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Hey, Max, just curious what you've seen watching the team from afar and what's impressed you about the way that the group has stood up against the three top teams in the Western Conference.
It definitely stands out that we did our work over the break. Team looks like they're in shape. Team looks sharp. I know we had a very strong training camp because I was in it and I saw it, but it definitely shows once the game started that this team has their legs, for the entire game. And as I think that little bit of advantage we feel we have, it starts to fade a little bit because everybody's starting to get in shape now. And, really it's nice to have that confidence that some guys were able to kind of build for themselves going into this playoffs. And, I think everyone should feel good about their game right now. And we really want that to carry over once the playoffs do start.
Next question will come from Justin Emerson of the Las Vegas Sun.
Max, I guess how strange was it to just be in the bubble and be that close to your team but not be able to play and having to watch the games on TV that are happening a 5-minute walk away?
It was strange, but as you mentioned, at least the entertainment was there's a lot of hockey on. I had some weights and a stationary bike in my room, so tried to do whatever I could to stay in shape. But at the end of the day, I just found myself working out and watching hockey, so it kind of helped me get back into the groove of things.
Time for a few more questions today. Next question will come from John Dietz.
Hey, this one's for Nate. I just want to circle back to what you were talking about, being in the bubble and this could be the hardest one to win. But I'm just curious, do you think as the playoffs go on, the guys are going to stay fresher? Because, you don't have the travel back and forth across the country like you guys had to do with Washington, the Hawks had to do with Anaheim in 2015, and then to Tampa Bay. Now, I've heard that takes a lot out of guys. Do you think that's going to help guys stay fresher and better on the ice?
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't really think of that. Definitely when you don't have to, hop on a plane, travel 5 hours, 3 time zones is going to be nice. We just walk to the other bench for an away game is something it's gonna be a little easier on the body. I just more mentally, I guess. is something that I think it's going to be tougher. Physically might not be as hard on your body, which would mean that a lot less travel would mean that you feel a lot better when you do hit the ice. Like I said, it's going to be a tough one to win just no matter what, given all the circumstances. But like the points that you alluded to, the points that I alluded to before, is that there are a lot of things that are going to help, guys be able to feel better for when, puck drops, and whether that's first round, third round, the final, whenever it may be. I think it's going to be a long road, but at the same time, the guys are going to be, like I said, a lot more fresh than I think they have been in years past. I mean, you got a lot of time off, and then, like I said, no travel. You're right here every day, so it's not like you're moving much.
Time for 2 more questions. We'll go to William Ramirez of the Associated Press.
Nate, you've been with this team since the start, been to the Stanley Cup final, seen the potential of the first 2 Vegas teams since joining the league. Sort of carry over from what you just answered, because of the bubble, the circumstances, maybe a tighter bond in being this close around one another for months. Is this particular roster as capable, if not more so, than the previous 2 seasons to make a run back to the final and win it?
Yeah, I think what it really comes down to is, we had a great run our first year. The second year that things happened, this team's got a lot of firepower. We got a lot of depth in our forward group that I think it really makes us even more dangerous than we ever have been. I think we got guys that up and down our lineup can score, up and down the lineup can defend well, penalty kill, power play. I mean, you saw that, you add a guy like Max back into our lineup, and it's just going to push another, have a ripple effect to our team to have, that many more guys with skill and speed, up and down our lineup. And I think that just is the biggest difference between where we are now and where we have been. I think you see what happened in year 1 and what happened last year as well. You got to learn from those things and learn that it's not going to be easy. You're not going to just walk back into the Stanley Cup final. It's incredibly hard to get there. And I think that our guys understand that and understand that, last year we thought maybe you could just roll through a team and once you're up, and now we learned the valuable lesson that that's not going to happen. And we're playing a very good team here in Chicago. It's a team that just, played really well, outplayed, Edmonton. And you're going to have your best game moving forward here and in order to beat this team in the first round.
Last question today will come from David Shane of the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Nate. For you, I know it's kind of a time and space issue, but just touch on their high-end skill defending them, and especially Patrick Kane and his shot. What makes that difficult?
Yeah, Patch talked a little bit about this before. You got guys, you sprinkle in some really good young talent with some guys that have been, all-stars, superstars in our league for quite some time. And, anytime you do that and they start clicking, it makes it difficult to defend against. I mean, Patrick Kane is one of the hardest guys to play one-on-one in the league. It's not just defensemen. It's how our forwards pick them up, how our forwards come back hard and help us out that allows us to play our gaps a little bit tighter, because that's what's going to frustrate skill players. If we can be up in their face the entire series and make it hard and make them go through you instead of, give them the time and space to go around you and make plays through you. That's going to be the big key to this series, especially for, our group is eliminating that time and space and having a good pushback from our forward group. And, and it always comes down to this is good goaltending. That's always what it comes down to in series like this.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Nate. Thank you to the members of the media for joining today. This will conclude the Vegas Golden Knights media session.